Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for ThermOWeb today, and I wanted to show you how I made these foiled stained glass butterflies using iCraft deco foils and also some quilted card backgrounds. So you're going to need some toner sheets from ThermOWeb. You can either use the self-adhesive ones, or I did not have any, so I just used the regular toner sheets. You'll need some acetate for the background, some deco foil of course, a 6x6 pad for the quilted background, and the Memory Runner XL. Then you'll get the iCraft Easy Cut adhesive for the foam sentiment. So here's my toner sheet. I cut it with my Silhouette Cameo into a bunch of butterflies, and it's a pretty thin sheet, so you don't need to use a setting that's too heavy duty. I just used regular cardstock here, and I'm peeling them up. I'm trying not to touch a lot of the toner because that will put your fingerprints on there and make the foil not stick. Now I'm going to make my deco foil sandwich. I'm going to lay my toner butterflies on the bottom, put the foil on top with the foil color facing me, and then the top piece of parchment paper on that. Run the whole sandwich through my laminator after having heated it up for a long time. And I'm going to do another run with some amber watercolor foil. You can see that I'm trimming off the edges there. Any little piece that's not going to be used, I cut off so that it doesn't go through the laminator and get wrinkled. Okay, now I've set these aside to dry, and now we're going to have the big reveal. You can see that the foil sheets have adhered to the toner, and to show you the difference between the black toner and the black foil, I'm just showing you in the light how shiny they are. And of course with the amber watercolor, you can really see the beautiful color that has adhered to our die cut toner sheets here. So these are going to be the top layers of our butterflies. The bottom layer is going to be just some plain acetate. You can use packaging, or you can use sheets of acetate that you purchase. And I'm just cutting around the edge of the butterfly there. And once I have it completely fussy cut, I don't have to worry too much about getting really close to the edge because the acetate is clear, but I'm going to adhere it with mixed media adhesive. Now, I would have been smart to do the adhesive first, and once it was dry, cut around, but I was kind of in a rush. I was trying to get everything done quickly so I could show you the stained glass effect. So I just cut around the edge of the acetate and then I adhered it together. But the next butterflies that I do the other way. So I just use some mixed media adhesive on the back of the toner sheets. Again, if you had self-stick toner, this would be a lot easier. So I've put a really thin tip nozzle on the top of my mixed media adhesive. The nozzle it does come with is very thin, but I like to do a lot of very detailed work, including things like adding sequins with my mixed media adhesive. So then you can see that I'm just laying that toner butterfly on top of that acetate piece that I cut. And this dries pretty quickly. It says on the bottle that you should let it dry overnight or whatever, but for your purposes here and making a card, I think you're fine to just give it a few minutes to really dry. So I'm going to take out some Copic markers. I have a pink and a nice dark orange here, and I'm just going to color in the acetate openings there so that when you lift it up, you get this sort of translucent effect that looks very much like stained glass. It's super bright because I have it against a white piece of paper background there, but when you lift it up, you can just see how translucent it is. And you can do this in any number of ways. You can use any colors that you have of Copic markers. I'm sure you could use other markers as well, but I know that Copics will dry and not smear once they're dry on acetate. They're really great for coloring things like gems or acetate because of the alcohol base of them. They will completely dry and then they won't smear. So you can see there how translucent it is. I could even just adhere the middle of the butterfly and have the wings lifting up off the project. So now I'm going to do a few more of these butterflies. These are the ones that I adhered to the acetate first, let it dry, and then cut around it, which was much smarter, made this whole process much easier. So I'm going to come in with some different colors, some yellows and different pinks. I even have some coral there. Again, you could do these in any color combinations that you have or that you love. I am going to stick with these three colors because this is going to be the entire look of my card. And And for this last one here, I'm going to go back to some of the colors that I used originally, some of those pinks and oranges. And again, there are no rules to coloring these butterflies, just have some fun with them because they just have a really pretty effect when you see the light go through those little translucent spots. You could even do some blending like I'm doing here, and then in the last little bit there I did put some polka dots on there. So there's lots of things that you could do. You could get very, very tricky with this, or you can make it very simple like I did. Now I have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch white cardstock piece that I'm going to use as my card panel, and I'm picking out 4 different sheets of 6x6 pattern paper. It's by My Favorite Things. It's all polka dots, and I'm going to make a sort of ray effect that is going to look like a quilted square. So I have my first panel here, and I'm just going to put some Memory Runner XL right in the middle there. I don't want it on the edges because I am going to stitch on them to make it look quilted. So I'm going to flip it over, and a little cut there, and then the long cut along this line here, and then I have my first piece. So now I'm going to line up my second piece, and you could have the centers off center from each other. The way that I did it, I have them all centered in the same spot. So they all originate at the same point. I think it looks cute both ways. So definitely give it a try and see what you like the look of. Because I am machine stitching, the most important thing is to not get any adhesive on those edge lines there, because that's where I'm going to do a zigzag stitch in between the 2 pieces of pattern paper to make it look quilted. And if I have any of that adhesive in there, it is going to gum up my needle, and I have had that happen before when I wasn't careful. Here I am trying to decide whether or not I want the same origination point or not, and I decide that I do. So again, I'm coming in with the Memory Runner XL, not getting it along the edges, just in the center there, and it holds the paper in place for me to cut off the extra and to send it through my sewing machine without any problems. It hasn't moved around at all. This is great adhesive, and it's nice and strong too. So a last piece there is really easy. I can just put the adhesive right in the center and then line up all the edges and trim off the excess. And then all I need to do is zigzag stitch this line all the way there and that line all the way there. Okay, to make my sentiment, I'm going to take some Easy Cut adhesive, and this is a thin double-sided adhesive. I'm going to lay it on a piece of black fun foam, cut off the edge there, and then just cut that whole strip down. I'm going to lay my die on top, and I'm going to run it through my die cut machine. Once I pull out this word die here, it is a sticker. So all I have to do is pop out those little center pieces, and then I can peel off the backing and adhere it to my card. Once my card is ready to put together, I also have a small sentiment that says "Wishing you everything" that is stamped and heat embossed, and I decide to turn the left-hand side into a flag by clipping down the center and then cutting in towards that middle point with some fine-tipped scissors. Now I need to decide where everything's going to go before I adhere it down. And I do struggle with this, except for the sentiment, which I decide needs to be at the bottom. I can't quite figure out how I want the butterflies, and so I cut out a lot of this video where I'm just moving them around because I just couldn't figure out how to work with that largest butterfly. So now I'm going to peel off the backing of the foam sentiment, make sure all those little interior pieces are removed, and all I have to do is lay this down on my project and press down, and it will be adhered for good. The smaller flag sentiment, I will put some Memory Runner XL and just trying to figure out how to center that. Once I get that down, I can flip it over and trim off the excess. And then it's time to adhere those butterflies and figure out exactly where they're going to go. So I'm going to put a little bit of Memory Runner XL, it's just tape runner, right in the middle of the butterfly. You're not going to see the adhesive because of the body of the butterfly, and that will keep the wings from sticking down to the card so that they can lift off and really look dimensional. The great thing about the Memory Runner is you can move it at first. Once you really press down, then it's stuck for good. The last thing I need to do is put it on a card base. It's a 4 1/4 by 5.5 top folding note card, and now my card is done. And you can see that the butterflies have this beautiful stained glass effect. They are foiled on the outside, which is really fun. And this is another card that I made. This one I used the amber watercolor butterfly, and you can see the quilted background there as well. So I hope you will try this fun foiled stained glass technique. Thank you so much for stopping by. See you next time.